Hey everyone, welcome back to the M&R Show. I'm Ron.
And I'm Malcolm.
And today we're bringing you another segment, possibly a new and consistent segment, which is overrated or underrated. Now, our first team we're starting off today with is the Arizona Cardinals. So Malcolm, are they overrated or underrated?
So let's look at this Arizona Cardinals team right now. They're 6-0. And I remember a couple weeks ago, y'all thought I was crazy when I was like, they're looking like the best team in the NFC. Ron, KT, you know, if you see watching this show. But let's look at this team. This team is actually underrated because people still write them off. It took a long time for you, Ron, to be able to put them first on your list when I had them first on my list for the past couple of weeks. But no, let's look at the Arizona Cardinals. They're averaging 32.3 points per game, which is fourth in the NFL in scoring. They added a guy in Zach Ertz from the Eagles, who is a very viable tight end that's going to really help them out. They didn't have a viable tight end last year. This year, they didn't really have one. Now you bring in a guy like Zach Ertz, it can bring your offense to another dimension. But one thing I understand about the offense, because that was already as good as advertised. So let's go ahead and start on the defense, wherein this defense has gotten way better than it was last year. This defense is second in scoring defense, which only allowing 16.2 points per game. It's sixth in passing defense, and they're top 5 in sacks, interceptions, and forced fumbles. This defense has improved mightily, and combined with this high-scoring offense, this team is unstoppable. It's very unstoppable, and I'm surprised people are not taking the time to look at this. They say, well, it's the record. It's the record. The teams that Arizona played against, they are combined 16-12. That's above 500. So I just want to make sure you know that Arizona is a very good team and looking like the best team in the NFC right now. So they're underrated.
Now, I'm going to have to disagree with Malcolm. Now, we all know if you're a fan of this show, that Kyler Murray is one of my favorite players, but Cliff Kingsbury is one of my least favorite coaches. So just not the best mix. And they have a very interesting team. O-line has actually been better, but they're still an underwhelming unit. The receiving core is really good. They usually run 3 to 4 wide receivers, so that's been really good. I do like the addition of James Conner, but the running game is still kind of questionable. Kyler is kind of on his Lamar Jackson, where it doesn't matter who the running back is, they're going to do at least decent because I have the threat to run as well. But it's just something about this team that still doesn't scream, I'm going to win the Super Bowl to me. And that's where they're looked at on the scale of that type of team. So personally, I don't see them being able to contend for the Super Bowl. So that possibly means in the divisional round, they might be on upset alert. This is the team that you can see like, okay, possibly number 1, number 2 seed, make it to the divisional round, but lose against a lower seed. Now, again, I don't think that'd be 100% on Kyler, but a lot of people on this team also don't have that much playoff experience. Even the people that do, like J.J. Watt and A.J. Green, are playoff losers for their whole career, like non-conference championship type of players. So that no one knows, it feels like they're truthfully going to run in the playoffs on this team. Even the coach has never won anything in his life going back to college. We've discussed that previously. So it's just the experience, the way the team is built. But I mean, there's a lot of things I do like about this team. Like Byron Murphy has played really good. They let go of Patrick Peterson. They said, Byron Murphy, you're our new guy. He's come. He has a 9 pass rate in single coverage. He's been really good in man and zone. Isaiah Simmons has been very good. Buda Baker is Buda Baker. We know what he can do with the ball. So a lot of good things, but I just think they're overrated because I don't think they can win a Super Bowl.
I think that we're living in this path about Cliff Kingsbury and what he has been doing. I'm not going to try to go on and on about this, but Cliff Kingsbury has improved this team ever since he first walked into the door. Their record has improved every year. And this year, they're going to have a better record than last year. As we can see, they're 2 wins away from that. They're 6-0, Ron. They have played hard teams. They played Cleveland. They played Cleveland without their head coach. They have played teams and beat the teams. It's time to give Arizona the respect that it needs, instead of saying that it's going to be a team that's going to be out in the first round. This team has this team is looking very complete right now. So I think that we need to give respect, and they can make a potential deep playoff run.
And my last thing is that last week we all know Cliff Kingsbury did not even come to the game. He had COVID. They beat the Browns by 20 points. This man does nothing for this team. You leave the game. If Bill Belichick does not show up for New England, I promise you, they are not going to look good that week. If maybe Andy, because Bieniemy is just that good of a coordinator. But a lot of coaches, if they leave, McVay, I don't know how good Stafford's going to look that week.
Hey, Kevin Stefanski left for Cleveland in the playoff game. He had COVID, and they blew out Pittsburgh in that playoffs last year.
And how he looks since he's been back. So you can argue they've lost damn near every big game since he's been back. Is he a good coach now? I mean, I'm just saying, every big game Cleveland has played since Stefanski has been back from COVID, like Malcolm said, they've lost. They've won no big game. The closest they've got is close games, which is the Chiefs. They've lost every big game that they were supposed to win since then. So some of that could be on Baker. Some of that could be on Stefanski. But back to the Cardinals, I'm just really scared for this team. The run game really does scare me. I think Kyler Murray can somewhat carry that, but he's not Lamar. So he's only 5'9". He literally cannot take a hit. He doesn't, but he literally can't even if he wanted to because his body literally cannot take that type of impact. So I'm really scared if they do play the Rams again in the playoffs, a team like that. In the Bucs, I think they have absolutely no chance, personally. And they could beat the Bucs in the regular season, but I think in the playoffs they have absolutely no chance against the Bucs, just unless somehow all the Bucs DBs just stay here for the rest of the season, which is not on the IR report. But if somehow that happens, I just don't think they can beat the Bucs with their team scheduled now.
We'll see.
All right, now on to our next team. We have the Dallas Cowboys. Are they overrated or underrated?
Now, guys, I know everybody's talking Malcolm. I put down the top 5 teams today. People saying, Malcolm, why do you not put the Cowboys on the list?
Yes.
There's a reason why. There's teams still better than him. We still have Green Bay. We still have the Ravens. We still have different teams that are better than the Cowboys right now. And I'm not trying to be that guy who is trying to be, trying to take it away and saying that the Cowboys don't deserve it. They're a very good team right now. Very good offensive team. Very fun to watch. But let's get down to business and understand the real things. Look at this team. This team has played the Giants, the Panthers, the Eagles, the Chargers, the Bucs, and Patriots. The Bucs and Chargers might be only 2 games that they've played that they've played so far, but the other teams that they played against were not good at all. And I'm looking at this team. The defense have gotten better, but the defense is still middle of the pack. It still give up points sometimes. There's some questionable play calling with Matt McCarthy as far as game management and stuff like that. Even though Kellen Moore is doing a very good job offensively, I think this team can be very good. But I just don't believe that this team is better than the Packers, which is the highest scoring offense and a way better defense, and the Rams and all the other stuff. So I really think they're overrated for right now until they show me more. I don't think that later on their schedule, they still have some easy games to play. So I don't know if it can be able to show me how good they are. They're looking like the Cleveland Browns from last year, how they just had an easy schedule and they'd be able to win these games that was easy to them. So we'll see. We'll see how this team goes.
Wow.
But we'll see. Just talking about the Cleveland. We'll see.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I have to just address Cleveland. One, Baker, Dak is salt and pepper. They shouldn't be it's actually Baker and Dak are salt and Old Bay seasoning. That is the big difference in importance that you need in your.
It's about as far as scheduling. It's not as far as the team and the players and stuff like that.
The Green Bay Packers also, by the way, the Packers have beat Jared Goff, Jimmy Garoppolo, Ben Burrow, and Justin Fields. These are the games the Green Bay Packers have played. They played no one. They have played in Alabama as scheduled. We'll play what's given. And they almost lost to the Bengals, by the way. And the kicker missed 2 field goals. They should have lost to the Bengals, by the way. So even their only win was barely a win. And that was against the Bengals, who have overachieved. Now, who knows if the Bengals will actually make the playoffs, but the Bengals are an overachieving type of team right now. I don't think they're as good as the record shows. So even that, their only decent win, they barely even got it there. Now, the running game has been, I personally, with the Cowboys, I still think we're underrated because people don't just say that we're the best offense in the NFL. Just simply, the best offense in the NFL. No team can run the ball and throw the ball like the Dallas Cowboys. They have the most explosive plays in the NFL. The second is actually Minnesota Vikings, by the way. So for all the Kirk Cousins haters, like Malcolm, he has the number 2 offense right now in explosive plays. So there goes that. Now, so it's teams those are just the balanced teams, and it's crazy. It's crazy because the Dallas Cowboys still have yet to have their full offensive line yet. So they have dominated this much, and Lyle Collins has not played since week 1. And guess he's coming back after the bye. it is La'el Collins. Hopefully not on drugs. So, I mean, I'm ready to see how he looks week 1. I mean, the Cowboys still missing Marcus Lawrence, still missing Gallimore. Your Donovan Wilson just came back last week, didn't even play. So the team is still not even healthy. I mean, I guess people are already, like I said, Dak's in the boot. So, I mean, the NFC East is just clapping their hands right there because they know that's the only chance they win in the division. So besides that, I still think the Cowboys are underrated. We still have yet to see the best Cowboys team. Like, this team is not scoring under 25 points a game in any game this season.
Oh, very bold. But I mean, I think that the Cowboys are going to win the division, most definitely. I think they have the talent to win it. But as we were talking about, the best team and stuff like that in the NFL, and, top 5 teams in the NFL, that's where, it comes to question, because I think that Ravens are better still at the end of the day than the Cowboys. But as you have seen, we have a lot to go, as this is only week 6 out of 17 weeks. So we will see around week 13, week 14 if this team is really for real.
All right. Now, my last thing before we move on, I have to send my apologies to Ezekiel Elliott on this show, because goodness gracious, he's back into the top 5 running back committee. He's back. Now his backup might be a top running back too.
Bold takes, man.
So I have to personally say, I have to apologize to Ezekiel Elliott. I wrote him off. We all know in this show, I wrote Ezekiel Elliott off. But this is my apology. He's looked amazing these last couple of weeks, and I can't take that away from him. Now, to our last and final topic. Malcolm wanted to talk about this one specifically. Now, we have a lot of Ravens fans that watch this show, so we want to make sure we put this in here. So, Malcolm, are the Ravens overrated or underrated?
Now, I know y'all fans, the Ravens fans, have been really jawing at me and Ron for the past couple of weeks because we haven't put them in the top 5. And I told them they need to have a very good win. They didn't have a good win. They had a good win. And here they go. They won. They had a good game. Now we put them in our top 5. Another thing is this. I like this Ravens team. One thing I'm surprised about is they're hovering around the top 10 in passing yards per game, which shows how much improved this passing attack has been, even though they added a guy like Sammy Watkins, who I don't really think has been good this season.
It's not.
But in reality, if that gives like a mental psyche of where it can be better for them, that's good for the Ravens. One thing I could see is Lamar Jackson these past 3 games. We've seen him as a pocket passer. He's improved mightily, and I think there was a post beginning of the season talking about how they have finally figured Lamar Jackson out. This is the season that they figured out. Well, they're clowns because I don't know what they're talking about. They might be talking about running because his efficiency as far as running the football is down, but passing efficiency has gone skyrocket. We're at career high levels, and I think this Ravens team is still good. They still have the top 5 in rushing yards. I think their defense took a slight hit as far as defense, but they're still hovering around top 10 in defense as far as passing yards allowed and yards allowed total. This is a very good defense. This is a very good team. People always talked about Harbaugh, but at the end of the day, this team keeps on winning year in, year out. And I think this team is underrated because not a lot of people talk about this team in the AFC North, which is crazy because they are the top team in the AFC North right now. And they should be talked about in the AFC because the Chiefs, even though they beat Washington last week, they had problems in the first half where we've seen the same thing over and over again with this Chiefs team. And there's teams that have gotten better. The Ravens need to be respected. They only lost 1 game. They need to be respected.
Yeah, the Ravens are still underrated to me. One, Lamar Jackson. Goodness gracious. This Lamar Jackson is an absolute superstar in this league. Top 10 passing yards, top 10 rush yards, leads the league in yards per rush. And Malcolm gave it, this is somewhat a down year rushing, fam. He still leads the league in yards per rush and is 7th right now in rushing. He's in rushing. He's still over Najee Harris. He's over Aaron Jones. He's over Alvin Kamara, who we all know I stand over on this show. And he's over Darrell Henderson. He's been that good rushing, and he's still top 10 passing right now. He's literally led them to every win. This is a team where if he leaves this team, they don't win a game. Like I'm talking about 0-6, 0-5. Like they would not win a game with a backup quarterback because he's done that much every single game for this team. Now, should they have lost some of the games, like the Detroit game where the kicker hits a 65-yard field goal? Yes. But at the end of the day, Lamar did make with that a 20-yard pass scrambling to the left to get them in that somewhat field goal range. The team has really just been that good. They're out 3 running backs. it doesn't even matter because we all know the running backs don't matter. Committee still stands with the Ravens because they're still going to be top 10 rushing anyway. So literally, they've still been good. And they've been Marquise Brown started the season off so bad because he dropped 3 touchdown passes in that Detroit Lions game. 3. Since then, he has been killing. Like he's good for a 40-yard touchdown every game at this point. Where he's now making your safety have to play back. But how can your safety play back and you have Lamar Jackson? So now the Ravens are really being able to give team problems. And please watch out for Rashad Bateman. He is coming for the NFL cornerback. Rashad Bateman is back. He is coming for the NFL corners. And I can't wait for Lamar Jackson to utilize his new number 1 or number 2 wide receiver for the rest of the season.
Oh, so number 1 receiver. Hey, Ron with the boat takes. I swear Ron's been going with boat takes this year. I don't know what's going on.
Jacoby Myers vibes. Like your slot
Jacoby Myers
catches.
I see. I could see that. I do like the Ravens team, and I'm telling you, the Steelers fans who talk all that smack and waiting for them to be losing and stuff like that, they just have nothing else to say. This is not their division no more. It's Baltimore Ravens division, and that's it. They've been proving that long before. This team is improved, and I like this team a lot.
Yeah, it's scary because this team is not even healthy, and Pittsburgh is just so healthy, and the Browns are basically healthy, and the Bengals are basically healthy. So while this team is somehow unhealthy, they're still better than all of you, and they're out Marcus Peters, who would probably be number 1 corner on every other team in that division. They're out him. Like the running back again, they're out their first 3. Like this team is still not healthy. Bateman he still really hasn't gotten. Like last week was his first game, if I'm not mistaken, being active on the roster. So they still are out a receiver. Like, and all these teams in the AFC North are still healthy. Good luck for the next 5 years.
Good luck to y'all. That's all I gotta say. Good luck to the AFC North, man.
Like, so anyway, thank you all for continuing to subscribe, like, and having those post notifications on our podcast. And please make sure you are commenting in the comment section.
Hey, y'all, continue to follow us on Instagram and on Twitter at Malc and Ron Show. We post a lot of content, post a lot of bold takes. As you can see, Ron throughout this whole show at bold takes. He does that all the time. Trust me. Just tune in. But y'all, thanks y'all for supporting.
All right.
See ya.